Okay, I'm going to leave. Thanks. My work here is done. Yep.
In addition, I did mention I'm part of a mastermind group, and hey, why don't you just stand up for a minute? They're all here.
Yay! Here they are.
And so what we've done is we've got the top agents around the Greater Toronto area, and we meet once a month to discuss new technology, strategy, new business development. And it's great because then it doesn't have to be a lonely world out there. We're all in it together, and we do a lot of joint marketing together. And we've got Diane Mitchell, who's very attached to Keller Williams. So, you know, I've got...
We like her more than you. It's not personal, though.
So that's one other way that we have a competitive edge. I mean, we're looking for...
I think that's brilliant. I think that is absolutely smart. Let me ask you a question. And anyone who's not doing that is a doofus. I mean...
Absolutely.
No, absolutely. If you're not masterminding with at least one other person, if not a handful of people, where you're saying, what are you doing, what are you not doing, look at mine, I'll look at yours, let's talk about it. How does that funnel back into your business? Does it come in chaotically, Dan, or does it come in any sort of funnel?
No, it's not chaotic at all, because even from today's session, I may have 15 ideas written down, but I'll go home and I'll implement one or two. But the difference with me is I will implement one or two. Right. So I will change my business when I go home for the better, and that will help build it and continue to head it in the direction that I want to go in. So, I mean...
That's probably the secret of your success, is that I will go home and I will incrementally do at least one thing. And what will happen is Dan Cooper went out, and 6 months later had some other ahas and saw something, and went home and knew he would truly implement one thing and work on that, or two things and work on that, see improvement, here's something else, add that, add improvement. So what you saw over 20 years was we saw a business doing this, in that you weren't throwing one thing out for another, you were doing something that was successful and added something else that was successful and then added something else that was successful. And you let your organization grow around implementation of that.
And sometimes I could just go back to the basics, because you got to look at the sound underlying business principles that make any business successful. So I'll go back to ground zero and I'll start and I'll look at what I'm doing to make sure it makes sense, because as time goes by, you know, you have to sort of pull certain things in and sort of grow in another area. And I guess one big thing is I need to do is, from a technology perspective, I'm going to hire a social media person the second I get home. So, you know, it's crazy. Why not? You know, government's paying for half of it through tax anyway. So I'm going to hire more people. That's what I need to do.
I got you. Awesome. All right. Joe, let's talk.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little about yourself.
Okay. Let's see. I started in real estate about 30 years ago, and I started real small. I was real happy when I made a six-figure income. Actually, I was eating barbecue sauce sandwiches when I first started in real estate. And I was happy to make my first sale, and it's just blown up. Real estate's been very good to me. I'm very blessed.
I would say it's blown up. Yep, I would say that. Last year, about 780 units. Looks like about 146 million. What does this year look like? Up, down, left, right?
We're up this year. Yeah. We're definitely up.
Yeah. Well, you know, in this and depending on what market you're in, being up or being even level is an amazing thing.
Some months are about the same, but overall we're way up for the year. I'm very pleased.
You and I visited as well prior to this, and I couldn't get you to 6, but I got you to 14. So let's walk through this. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
And let's talk about this. So the first thing you told me was treat this business like a job. What does that mean?
It means that most people, when they start in real estate, they say their number one thing they say to me is, okay, now I can work my own hours. I don't have to show up at a certain time. I don't have to go home at a certain time. Yeah. I can work whenever I want to.
I'm free to do whatever.
I cannot work at all. And so the difference is that because it's your own business now, and you should treat it like a job, it means you're working all the time, not none of the time or a little bit of the time.
Well, the thing about a job, and Dan talked about it as well, is you're bringing structure to that instead of just bleh.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a job has structure. This freedom thing is whenever, whatever.
Right. If you don't work, you don't eat.
Well, most people, the reason they don't get to the pinnacle of their career is they don't treat this with any sort of constraints or restraints or parameters or hours or job focus. And job tends to have a negative connotation, and no one, as a salesperson, wants to have a job. But the reality is what you mean by that is bringing a work ethic and a commitment to doing certain things within certain time frames, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I get that. Number 2, you said dress professionally. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean that the average realtor, and I've seen some of them here today.
Yeah.
The average realtor doesn't dress very well, and supposedly, I've heard that we're ranked.
You're not talking about Dan, are you?
No, not him. Okay, he's a great looking fella. No harm intended. But anyway, the average realtor, if you see them and they walk in my office every day, I just cringe. You know, they wear shorts, they wear those little shoes with the holes in them. I think they're called crocodiles or something like that.
Crocs, yeah. I agree.
And I say, are you coming to work or are you going on vacation? You know, so we're ranked right up there with used car salesmen as far as how people perceive us. And you don't realize it, but people will definitely pay more attention to you when you're dressed in a suit and tie than when you're dressed just regular.
Now you can dress in all black and it works. Trust me.
You look great too.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, but
we're okay, Dan.
I have to tell you that when I present myself the way I'm presenting myself, I get treated with much more respect than if I just dressed casual.
No, I get that totally. It's interesting. I haven't seen that book in print in a long time, but back in I think it was 70s or 80s was the Dress for Success series. And I remember actually going to the store, buying that book, reading it, and then going out and buying exactly what they told me to wear. And I have to admit, it made a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll also get a lot of attention in the grocery stores. They ask you for what aisle things are on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, number 3, you said manage your time. What do you mean?
It means that people are every day people are trying to pull you the direction they want to pull you in. And if you have a focus about when you wake up in the morning what your goals are that you want to accomplish that day, and you establish some type of structure to it, then no one can get in your way. You know what goals you need to accomplish, and you have to time manage in order to be able to get that done.
Dan, what do you say?
More or less same.
That's
Absolutely,
it.
yeah.
You're not willy-nilly?
No.
No, I didn't think so. All right. Yeah, I think you have to manage your time. Do you have to manage it for 10 hours? My experience is when we say manage your time, you don't have to manage it for 10 or 12 hours. You have to manage it during the periods that matter.
I manage it for segments of time, and
exactly.
So I try to segment my day into what I want to do in different segments.
Yeah.
There's one thing I could add here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
At night before I go to bed, many times I take out a piece of paper and I'll write down everything I got to do tomorrow, because it can be like 40 things, and I sort of prioritize them, categorize them so I can get through the day.
No, that's exactly right. I carry a pad with me, and when I have a thing I should do or I want to do or whatever, I write it down. And then I brain dump each morning that out onto a sheet of paper. That way I don't have to carry it around with me or think about it or remember it. And then I can organize it into when I think it should be done.
I got a little too anal at one point. I actually made a list of everything I wanted to do every day, and I'd cross them off as I got them done that day. And I didn't leave until I was done. So, but I make notes now.
That's very anal.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, I love you.
I love you too.
I can't be Joe.
I don't do it anymore.
No, you can do it. No. I think for people to see that there are multiple ways to do it is a good thing. So I totally respect what you said. If that's how you managed your time and you had the ability to do that and work for you, I think that's awesome. I get constantly accused of being this disciplined person. And the reality is I'm only disciplined during segments. And outside of the segment, I'm as undisciplined as it comes. And I actually take great joy and pride and pleasure in being undisciplined during those parts of my day, because I don't think I would have the energy to be disciplined otherwise, personally.
I understand that, but in the same vein, if you don't structure your day, other people are going to structure it for you.
Oh, yeah.
And so I try to make sure at least I accomplish my major goals every day.
Well, here's the thing I've learned about success, and that is if you accomplish just a handful of major things, you can be unstructured the rest of the day, and it's not going to harm you.
Exactly.
Yeah. The thing is to be structured during the times that matter. And my view on that is around lead generation. The lead generation has to get done. As much of the rest as you want to be structured around, get someone who's structured and let them do that.
I do lead generation every day.
Yep. We're going to get to that in a second. Number 4, you said don't be a secret agent. What do you mean?
It means that when I walk in a room full of realtors, and if I walk in this room right here today, I can tell you that there's a whole bunch of realtors right now that if they walked up to anyone that they met on the street, no one would know they were a realtor. And I say don't be the secret agent, because you wouldn't believe the number of people that because I'm wearing my Keller Williams and my name badge, that when I'm in the grocery store, doing anything, eating dinner, people will come up to me and talk to me about real estate because they know I'm a realtor. And it could be anywhere that you're doing business. If you are not the secret agent, you've just increased your business tremendously. It relates to name badge, it relates to clothing, it relates to business cards. I cannot tell you the number of people I've met here at this convention that didn't have a business card to give me.
Yeah. I don't have one, but if you'll give me yours.
That's right. And you can't be the secret agent. Imagine how much more business you can get if you just put like a permanent poster on you that said, I'm a realtor.
Well, what I love is the idea that you have to be known. How you do that is up to you. At the very least, if you can't do anything else, you're saying dress like one and identify yourself as one.
Right. Have you ever had a seller when you were listing? I know that was a long time ago, Gary. Okay, but have you ever had a listing where they said, I don't want to put a sign in the yard?
Yeah.
So I say you can't sell your house if you don't want to be the secret seller, and you can't be a realtor if you're going to be the secret agent.
Yeah, you can't do it. That's right. Yeah, they have to, one way or the other, they have to know who you are.
Right.
I absolutely agree with that. Number 5, prospect. Get out there and ask for business. What do you mean?
I mean, everywhere I go, I ask for business. And my son, ironically, I was buying a washer and dryer the other day. Mine died. And my son said, Dad, why didn't you give him a business card? I said, you know what? You're right. Everywhere I go, I say, by the way, if you're ever looking to buy or sell a house, there you go. Please call me. I'd love to help you.
So for you, just like number 4, this is a top-of-mind awareness for you. One of the things that you have pulled into your life is, I'm a realtor. I'm proud of it. I want everyone to know it. I can get business anywhere, and there's no reason not to.
There's so much business out there. All we have to do is ask for it and prospect. The funny thing is, we're not in insurance sales. Who wants to talk about life insurance? By the way, if I was a life insurance salesman, I'd never want to hand out my business card. But everyone in the whole world wants to talk about real estate, so why not tell them you're a realtor?
Yeah, I agree.
It just opens up the conversation. Next thing you know, you're getting business.
I agree with that. Number 6, put marketing in place and be consistent. What does that mean?
It means like my friend over here, Dan, I'm sure he's consistent whatever he does as far as advertising. And my marketing, I don't put it in one month and I'm out the next month, because there has to be repetition and consistency in order to be successful. It's not always going to happen immediately, but by people seeing your name and your brand and being aware of it, eventually when they're ready, they'll call. You have to be consistent.
Number 7, you said know where your leads are coming from.
Ask people, how did you find out about me? And then focus on where you're getting your business as to where to direct your advertising dollars.
So always know where you got business from.
Absolutely. And we track everyone.
Number 8, follow up constantly.
Follow up, the 2 most important words in real estate, follow up. Every day I have my time where I sit down and no one can bother me because I'm prospecting. And if Gary said, call me next year, okay, 2000 or 2011, 2012, whenever you told me to call, I'd make a note down. And I'd call and say, Gary, I just wanted to call you. You said you might be interested in selling your house in a couple months, and I just wanted to follow up and see if you're ready yet. And I keep just a little tickler file.
You bet.
And I make those calls every day. This week I goofed off. I didn't do it because I'm here. But if I don't make those calls every day, I don't feel good. So I have to follow up religiously, and that's the critical thing to being successful. People appreciate that.